Hi y'all, in this video I am going to give you a mid-year homeschool update of our kindergarten curriculum from the good and the beautiful. What is working and what is not working and what we're doing about that. So stay tuned. Okay, so for those of you who are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Dina and I am a homeschool mom of 5 kiddos, 6 and under. I've got a first grader, a kindergartner, a preschooler, and then I've got a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old. So as you can imagine, life is chaotic and a little bit busy in our home and a little bit loud, if we're all gonna be honest. So, but I wanna go ahead and update you on how homeschool is doing this year, our 2019-2020 year. Now we did start pretty early on last year in 2019 because I was going to have a baby in October and we were going to move across the country. We're a military family, so that happens a lot. And so we started in June of 2019. So this is kind of a mid-year update because we took about a 2.5-month break when the baby came, and then we moved, and then throughout there was, Thanksgiving and Christmas also. So this is technically our mid-year update. So I'm going to first start off with the kindergarten level from the good and the beautiful. This is the newer level. This is the 3rd edition. And I do have a video comparing this edition to its previous edition on my channel, and I will go ahead and link it above so that way you can check it out if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and start with what has been working for us. So overall, this curriculum has been working for us. My boy is a brand new 5-year-old. We started when he was 4.5 and he really loves it. He calls it his kindergarten book and he enjoys almost every lesson, and I will explain that in just a little bit. But he is doing great. He is learning how to read. It is a little bit of a slower process than it was with my previous child, but he is learning and he is growing, and he's learning about diligence and how to keep working at a task because it's something that doesn't come easy for him. So he is learning how to keep going. We say practice makes progress. Good job, baby. Good job. High five.
Practice makes progress.
Practice makes progress. That's right, baby. You're gonna get it. You're doing real good. So when he finally conquers a sight word ladder or finally conquers a mini book, then he is over the moon excited, and it's a really great way to practice being diligent. Another thing that is working for us in this book is that we are able to pretty much do 1 lesson a day. The lessons are short and sweet, but jam-packed with good quality education. And there's so much variety in this book that I am never worried whether or not he is getting enough. I believe it is more than enough. Okay, so now on to the things that aren't necessarily working for us. So in this edition of Level K, they don't have you do the flashcards or the sight word ladders every day. And some people like that, and some people that works for them. But I noticed for my boy that if we didn't do them every day, it wasn't quite sticking in his head. And so how we fix that is we just did it every day. So the very first thing we do when we open up the book is we go to our flashcards and we go to our sight word ladders, and it really just takes us a couple of minutes. Then he is good to go. Then he can learn them a little bit faster. Another thing that wasn't quite working for us was the order of the flashcards. So normally the flashcards, see, they have numbers. I don't know if you could see that, but they have a number, and then, you just kind of go through that. And then when the child has mastered like 0 to 18 or something like that, or 59, I can't remember because I've got a bunch of flashcards in my head, then they get to color a little portion in the book, and so that's really fun. So you go through the cards in order. But so what normally happens is they go through these, so il, el, ick, just like that, and then they get to the ones where they show how the sound works within a word. I found that my boy wasn't really getting how that sound builds a word. And so anyway, let me show you what we did to adjust for that. So then here is card 28, and it's ugh. So then right after the sound, I would put the card with the words in it that belong to that sound. So then I kind of just rearranged the cards basically. And so see, that is 5. So we go from 28 to 35. And then he started to put it together that, okay, ugh is not an actual word, but ugh is a sound of a word and part of a word. And so ugh, bug, ugh, ugh. So he actually started putting those together pretty easily and realized that he could read words based on the sounds of two words together, like the ST sound. He seems to have picked that up pretty easily, and that's not in one of the flashcards. Like he knows that ST says st. So whenever he reads, I don't know, like rust, st, he can just kind of put that together. So he's kind of understanding that, oh, the sounds of these letters together are the same. And so I can kind of, if I remember that, then I can read the words faster.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Ugh. Da. Dug. Dug.
Doug.
Wug.
Uh-huh.
Bug.
Uh-huh.
Hug.
Good.
And fast.
Fast. So that's been working well for us. Not necessarily the order that they suggest, but that's okay because you can just switch things around to make it work for the way that your child learns. Another thing that doesn't really work for us, and this is specifically to my boy, is Bobby and the Big Road. And I'm very sad to even say that because it's such a cute story, and the way that they teach different things using that story is so smart. But my boy doesn't really like to sit and listen to stories as much as my oldest girl. She will run in from another room if I'm reading a story to someone. So he just is not like that. So Bobby and the Big Road is just not connecting with him. But that's okay. What we do is we still read it. I still read to him. He loves to draw. So I actually had him the last few times get a piece of paper out, and he would draw Bobby and the Big Road. There's a picture there, and he just kind of copy it as I'm reading it. He's not comprehending any of what is happening, but it's okay because he's reading the red letters. And when I ask him questions about it, he can't really answer, but I kind of remind him of what happened. And so it's okay. It's not his favorite. And so then it's not really my favorite when we get to one of those sections, but we do it anyway. And if you decide not to do it, then that's up to you. I'm not saying because of that the curriculum is bad, because honestly that I love that portion of it. It's just that it doesn't work for my specific child. Another thing we had to adjust that was a little bit harder for us to work with was the mini books, the infamous mini books. I see posts on Facebook all the time about people loving them, people hating them. More people don't like them actually, but I really love them. And I think they do what they are meant to do, which is help the child learn new words and help the child build confidence. But my boy doesn't love these, although I still make him read it. If we need to, we will break it down over a few days. But by the second time that he goes through this and reads them, he is more familiarized with the words. Like for instance, the word girl. He didn't know how to read that when he first started. But by the time we even got to the end of the book, the first time, he knew girl. He knew how to read that. And then when we read it through again, he knew how to read that word. And it's not a word that was already introduced to him. The sound that IR makes like that hasn't even been introduced to him. But I just tell him, okay, this word says girl. And so then from then on, he knows that word means girl. And then later on, he will learn that those two letters together make that sound. But I actually really love these. And in the last edition, they had them read it 3 times. And I actually do like reading it 3 times a little bit more. But we only do it twice because my boy was having such a hard time with it. But if you can read it 3 times, go ahead and read it 3 times, read it 4 times. So whatever you want to do, whatever works for your child. And the last thing that I don't even want to say that it didn't work for us, but we did struggle through this part, was the assessment for Unit 1. If you can see here, so it's got all of these words and then the vowels, and then it's got a reading assessment in the back. And it asks you to have them read all these words within 60 seconds. And I knew right off the bat that my boy was not going to be able to do that in 60 seconds. And so after praying about it and thinking about it and trying to figure out, okay, well, what are we going to do? Do I need to just stop him altogether? Do I need to just keep pushing on? I decided to just push pause a little bit, and not completely, but what we would do, we'd still work on the flashcards, we'd still work on our sight word ladders, and then we'd play little games using these words. Like I would cover these words right here, and I'd say, okay, Bubs, put a bean on the word he, and he'd have to read it, obviously, and so he'd put a bean on the word he. Put a bean on the word to, and so he would put a bean on the word to. And I do that. I do one column a day because I figured that was going to be easiest for him. Towards the end, I did just kind of do all of them in a day, and he was fine. And then I'd even have him tell me which one to put the bean on. Then I knew for sure he was reading those words. But after about a month of just doing that, then he was able to go in and read all of them with no problem. Now, he never did it within the 60-second marker, but that was a okay compromise for me because I knew we could continue moving on. We might just have to move on a little bit slower, and that was okay. Another thing that the assessment has you do is in the back here is a reading assessment, and I actually really love these. Here is what the child reads. So here's a poem, and then here's a couple of paragraphs. So passage 1, right, and passage 2. You don't have to do these all in one day. So I actually broke them up into 3 days because I knew it was going to be too overwhelming for him. So what you do is you go in, they give you a place to write the date and write the time. So you do time them, but it's not like they have to read it within a certain time. It's more seeing how long it takes them to read it. And then how many words they missed. See, all of these words here are what he missed. And then we did it for the second one. We did it for the third one. And I actually really love these, you guys, because then you can see the progression in their learning. So this next one will probably be done sometime in the middle of the book. And then the last one is done at the end of the book. And you guys, these are so good. It is so great to be able to see them really learning. So again, I didn't want to say that that didn't work for us, but it's something that we did have to adjust for. So moving on to another part of the curriculum, but something that kind of goes along with the language arts, are these mini books. Honestly, guys, these mini books are just working for us. There is nothing about them that is not working for us. I have a video reviewing this box set and box set B, and I will try to remember to link it up above so that way you can go check it out. But these beginner books, as opposed to the mini books, he really does love these. When I bring these out, he's excited about them every time. So these are definitely all working for us. There's nothing about them that isn't working for us, that aren't working for us. Okay, and the next thing is our math level K, and this is part 1. And so we are on lesson 15. So we aren't even halfway through this book. So what is working for us for math level K? Well, something that's working for us is that my boy loves it. He calls it his K book because, well, obviously, but he has shown quite an interest in math, and he's just has a very good number sense. And something that they teach you in here is how to subitize. So subitize is a word that I had never heard before trying to teach my kids math. But apparently it is the ability to visually see a group of objects and know how many there are. So say you see a group of 3 vases on a table. You know that there are 3 there, and you don't have to go and count 1, 2, 3. A good example of this is when you roll a die, you don't have to count all the dots that are on the die. You automatically know that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, whatever it is. And my boy has shown that he can do that fairly well. There's a lot of dice games in here, and so he's been able to do those so well. When I ask him to group 5 B manipulatives together, he can do that really quickly. So he is really thriving in this math and absolutely loves it, and absolutely loves all of the different manipulatives, and it's working very well for us. The only thing I would say that is kind of on the downside of it, I hate to even say that, but we cannot do a lesson in one sitting. It usually takes us about 2 days to do one lesson. And honestly, you guys, that doesn't bother me a whole lot. The Good and the Beautiful is an advanced curriculum. So by the time he finishes this level K curriculum, he will be doing first grade stuff. So I'm not worried about it very much. I know sometimes it can be disheartening to not finish a book all in 1 year, but as long as your child is learning and thriving and loves learning, I mean, that really is the goal. If they love to learn, then they will want to do that on their own. Okay, you guys, well, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell icon so you know whenever new videos pop up. Don't forget to follow me over on Instagram for all the latest and greatest in our chaotic lives of 5 kids, 6 and under. And here's my Abby. She's the oldest. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that y'all have a blessed day. All right, see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.